And we also want to talk more about this with NewsNation legal contributor Jesse Weber. Great to have you on the program, Jesse. I think at one point during the 8-week trial, you had the #1 podcast in America. So many people turned to you and your team as we were going through it because it's complicated, it was interesting, and now we finally have the sentence. So I just want to start with, did you predict that this was going to be kind of the middle ground? Because, of course, the prosecution wanted 11 years. The defense wanted 14 months, essentially time served, and he got 4 years. What did you make of it?
I didn't think that either side was going to get what they were asking for. And I think the judge laid it out perfectly. Where I thought they may go, where I thought the judge may go was 5 to 7 years. He started the day by saying that is the range. I don't see a reason to deviate from that. I always thought it was going to be 5 to 7 years. 14 months, way too little, way too little. Why? Because yes, traditionally for these type of crimes, transportation to engage in prostitution, someone might get probation, someone might get time served, someone might get 14 months, but there were aggravated factors here. This happened multiple times. There were 2 victims. There was violence that was involved. But 11 years, the judge said, 11 years would be more than necessary. Anything beyond 11 years, people are talking 20 years, that would be not reasonable. I mean, it wasn't tied to a more serious crime like racketeering or sex trafficking. He was acquitted of that. So when you talk about that middle range, people might disagree with me. I think the judge was actually moved not so much by that video that was played in court of Sean Combs' life. I think he was moved by his children. I think he was moved by the fact that Sean Combs had a difficult upbringing. His father was killed, murdered at a young age, and yet he built himself into a rap mogul and helped a ton of people. I think the judge was persuaded by that and basically said to him at the end of the day, you are getting a second chance. Sure, it's not the second chance he was hoping for. He thought he would get out immediately, but you're getting a second chance and you're going to be able to see a light at the end of the tunnel.
And there was also his family members were in court, right? So the adult children, his mother was there. And when that sentence came down, or the verdict and the sentencing, he said to the family, look, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You are going to have a chance to support him while he goes through this. And I thought it was also really interesting that the judge said, when he was talking about the time and time again thing, that the raid had happened in 2023 and that we heard from a former girlfriend who was on the stand and said, you still abused her, so you didn't learn your lesson, it appears. And now we know that they're going to appeal. We heard from the defense attorneys outside of court. Of course, they're not going to be happy with how this played out because they really wanted the 14 months. And before I get to that, I do have to ask you about what played a role in the sentencing. So maybe the movement of the family and hearing from them. But what did you make of the fact that the prosecution during yesterday's sentencing said, this guy has speaking engagements that he has set up for himself in Miami for next week, which really seemed to appear that he thought that he was going to walk out?
Yeah, that was a bombshell because that would seem to signify, all right, yeah, you think you're going to get out. Now, what did the defense do? They immediately went on the defensive. They said, well, these are not speaking engagements. He's not going to party. This is in line with him trying to help people who are reintegrating into society. These are healing sessions. We're bringing out the executive director of this program to explain a little bit more what this is about. That was not a great look for the defense, but I don't know if that's really what the determining factor was. I think you really nailed it on the head. Why should we believe, or the judge said, why should I believe that you are changed when after all of that happened, after the 2016 tape came out, after you apologized, you had a brutal night with Jane, one of the key victims in this case. You punched her in the face. You forced her to engage in sex work. And by the way, when he was arrested, Laura, when he was arrested in New York and he was surrendering himself to authorities, he had paraphernalia in his hotel room. He had evidence of a freak off in that room. So that was really a determining factor for the judge.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.